All right, we're live again. I'm going to try on StreamYard because I was able to see the mic and controls and that. And the playback was good. What I basically have to do is because the microphone is up on top of the monitor, and I don't know if the camera's acting up or, you know, whatever, but, the picture's still good. I mean, it takes a good uh, video or picture, like talk like on TV. But the microphone and plus my allergies and chronic sinus problems, it's hard to hear. But I found that if I sit with this thing right here by the desk and sit closer to it, I think the problem was I was leaning too far back, and now I'm like, you know, so many inches away or so far away from the mic and the camera. If I sit up here and talking to my new microphone, uh, I guess everyone can hear me because some people did say they had trouble hearing some of it. And when I played back some of these live broadcasts, the audio was sucky. I didn't like it. All right, guys. So I think day 47, I'll try to get that up. And also another thing, Sean and all you other guys, um, if you come later and try to see the comments, this takes a few days, this one, because going with StreamYard, I went on there, there's no way you can see the comments. When I use the YouTube studio, usually in 24 hours, you can go and you'll be able to get the comments on there. Why it takes so much time for that to be there on the playback video, I don't know. I do know it's longer uh, with StreamYard. Let me look. I'm going to look and see. Go here, find myself, go to my lives. Okay, I see the one there. I'm going to look at the test. So, and yeah, the test I did yesterday was the right hand side, and I cannot get the comment. So I don't know. They eventually do show up, I believe. Uh, let me see. Okay, but if you are live, see your comments. I got myself live. All right, let's do this. Let's go back to the studio. All right, so I got to keep remembering to stay close to the microphone so you can hear me clearly. All right, so 47 days out. Like I mentioned about misinformation, uh, it's still going. You hear so much crazy stuff about Russia, about the war in the Ukraine, and it's unreal. You have no idea. And there's these weird things where they show like these missile strikes and are saying they blew up these things, and it's News India or something, and it says it's live, but it's just like a loop of these military videos or whatever video clips, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know, but it's curious to me, and I have no idea what it is. Again, like I said, misinformation. You got people telling you the exact opposite. And I may have to cut this short if I get a phone call. Been a busy day today. Got out to the range, like I said yesterday. I got out there to the range, and I know a lot of guys say do your live at certain time, and that probably tomorrow I'll do it at 9 a.m. So I'll tell you guys that. I don't have anywhere to go. It was rain and misty. It was like going to a golf course in northern Scotland. Okay, uh, you know, same as our elections up here, big farce. All right. So I went out. I was working with that damn pump shotgun again. I thought I had it fixed. I threw some more money into it, but then it you know, it's still doing the thing where that lift arm binds. Okay. But I'll go out, do a video of me shooting it, and I'll do my final analysis of it. And it's going to get liquidated like some of the other ones. Just get rid of them. I'll sell them to somebody cheap. Tell them, hey, good luck. I've been working hard. I just got done cleaning everything and finished up in the garage. Joel, I'm going to have me a beer, gentlemen. So, I got my work done today. I went out, tested some things. These Genex primers, again, they're like a little bit harder military primer, any type of hammer fired gun or old military pistol. Okay, these small, large pistol primers, any of the Makarovs or something that's hammer fired, they work. Okay, it's the striker fired guns, or if you have a tuned action in a revolver where they change the springs, then they tell you to use the most sensitive primer you can get, which are Federals. I think they have a thinner cup. They've always been known for that. Okay, but there was a time I could not find standard Federal small pistol primers for over 2 years at any price. That's not it's inflated price. That's just they weren't around. They were unavailable. Okay, I mean it was crazy. It's those Secchi's. Yeah, he could. No, it's not. It's a Yingling. That's what I drink uh, most of the time. But yeah, so you know, and also I think the Genex probably is made the same place like PPU ammo and that. And most of their ammo works fairly well. Okay, I've had them work on my 380s and stuff, no problems. So the quality is there. Oh, like I said, I just got done running around. So 47 days out. And what happened? Well, I had to go out last afternoon, meet some friends, and talk to them. And by the time I got home, the Fed was meeting this week, and it was a big thing with all the people that have YouTube channels about buying gold and silver, and just uh, that goes hand in hand with people looking and all the indicators and keeping track of stuff for buying stocks, bonds, where to put your money, all that financial stuff kind of falls in line with stacking. They call it stacking now, stacking silver, stacking gold. And there's a lot of influencers and a lot of people that tell you all kinds of wild stuff about it. But everybody was keyed up about what the Fed's going to do with the interest rate. Okay. Because if they lower the interest rate, uh, and then they're saying by how much, half a point or something as to three or some stuff. They're going to do it like half or the five, and it's all tied into inflation, the price of everything. So there's a lot of people out there get excited over this, and it's all part of this whole thing coming up to the election. Be it escalation of wars. Let me see, guys. Oh, sorry, guys. Had to talk to the missus. All right. Fed is independent, must abide by its dual mandate, job growth, and inflation. Yeah. Well, what was going to happen is they were saying that if they lower the interest rates, then the precious metals, both of them, should just skyrocket. Uh, because in the past, all the indicators, that when a dollar's weak, the metals go up. That ain't quite happening, and everything's skewed. Everything's a lie. So a lot of these things, be it polls, be it predictions, uh, nothing. You can't rely on anything no more. It's just as simple as that. And now I guess, like I said, I was nervous that when I talk about the Ukrainian war, there was a point in time where YouTube would shut my channel down. Well, they're kind of not doing that. They're kind of like easing up on that and stuff. And there's got to be a reason. And what it is they're letting so many conflicting things go back and forth. Uh, it's I don't know. It made Dominion voting machines hack proof. Uh, who was okay, Joel? That I didn't hear Dominion machines hack proof or whatever. I have no idea. But mail-in voting, that was weird because right at the time they did something with the post office. Mail was getting lost in every post office locally, and I went to 3 or 4 of them in a couple different cities. They weren't taking the mail out. I mean, the one in the lobby or the metal ones outside, you'd go there and there'd be mail hanging out of it. Okay, they had one at a post office with the shopping center. And I mean, they had 8 mailboxes. It was convenient. You'd go shopping, and if you had to mail something, you just drop it in there. The mail was actually overflowing through the spouts, them noses they had, and laying on the ground. Okay. And the same thing, I went to the post office in my little town, and the thing was stuffed to where mail was sticking out of the slot. Now that goes down a chute into a giant cart. So that meant that cart in the back was overflowing and the mail was jammed, and these people just keep shoving it in there instead of taking it in and turning it in at the desk or something. Okay. They had a box up there. But I guess they were just doing it after hours because they close at 3:30. So you got to mail something after work, and mail-in ballots and that, people shoving them in there, wearing their mask, shaking, thinking they're going to end up dead. So that turned into a 3-ring circus. But going back, this thing about Springfield, Ohio. Okay, now I'm wondering if Trump did this just to open the doors because it's not about animals no more. Okay, there's I found a video and it deals with guns. Okay, and forgive me, next live, however I do it, or this one, I may post a link to this video, and it was Christian Martyrs or something, and they were talking to this young girl, and she said that she worked at a local gun shop over a year ago. She worked there. Okay. And she doesn't work there anymore. I guess they let her go, fired her, whatever. And she said that the Haitians would come in. They don't speak English. They bring an interpreter and they try to purchase firearms. And she goes, most of them, you know, it's like whenever you go to buy a firearm, everyone knows it. And this where it starts getting weird. Okay. You got to have a valid ID. You got to have a valid driver's license. Part of when you purchase any type of firearm, be it a shotgun, rifle, pistol, they fill out that form. Okay. Here in the States. All right. They ask you which city you were born in. What the hell are you? They ask your address, and they do write down the ID that shows your address. Usually your driver's license. There's a place for it. And then whatever you need, either I have a concealed carry permit, or used to be your pistol purchasing permit, or when they call in the background check, when they call that in, there is a number or something from that check that when they call in to check, give you a background check, there is some sort of a number that is put in, the form. Okay. So, when you do that, so where this is bullshit, if they're just coming in with a driver's license, you're going to have to do a background check, number one. Number two, they ask you, see, now I've never been involved all the times I've worked in a gun shop, all the times that I've done any paperwork working for some businesses over the years. And it was 40 years ago or more. So, everything's kind of changed since then. But where they ask you the questions, what country are you a citizen of? And are you a non-resident alien or something? There's something to do that. And I don't know the regulations for buying or for selling, how you would go about uh, doing the paperwork for someone who is not a resident. And I guess they ask for a visa, green card, something. You have to have some sort of documentation. Yeah, it's like non-resident alien, I think is the wording. I can't remember. I just skip over that because I'm a citizen. So I never had to deal with that. And they also ask you, to write down the city and or country you were born in. And of course, when my wife went and bought a pistol, that's not in the United States. So when they did the automated paperwork and then it come up, everybody goes crazy, and it's like, she's, and call the manager, and he goes, well, yeah, says she wasn't born in the United States, but she has a valid concealed carry permit. So she goes, she has to be a citizen. All right. So then they come over, looked at it, seen that she had it, and the judge's signature, and it was valid and everything, and it went. Now, if you have a driver's license and the guy had either concealed carry or something, which he didn't get it changed, you're supposed to change that because my concealed carry has my address on it. Now, if I move and get a driver's license and got a different residence, and my concealed carry doesn't marry up because I seen this in the store. This wasn't a foreigner or anything like it. It was just a guy. He moved and he was trying to buy a rifle or something, and they just told him no. He goes, well, so and so said. He goes, no. If they don't, you got to go change it. There's no way for me to legally do this. And of course, now this is at Sportsman's Warehouse or something. These people ain't gonna jeopardize nothing. So when this woman was saying, well, they show an ID. Okay, they show an ID, but they still got to have a background check. Okay, which I don't know. I guess they're never arrested. It comes back clean or something. I don't know, but there's a lot more to it. And she says they're trying to use Mexican issued ID cards and something else, or they have a driver's license. And she goes, well, do you still live there? And the guy said, no. She goes, well, then I can't sell you a gun. And then he goes, well, no, I was kidding. And she goes, doesn't matter. You said you don't live there. I can't sell you the gun. And then an argument started, and he tried taking it. And this whole story sounds strange. Okay. Uh, don't sell to addresses. So I don't know if 20 of them go live there, get a driver's license for that address, and then, the gun store. This woman's story sounded very fishy. Okay. And the ATF, is down checking all our local FFL dealers, okay, checking them left and right and auditing them to where if they leave anything or don't, anything discrepancy in the paperwork, they threaten to pull the guy's FFL. So I don't see how he could be selling guns to these foreigners with no ID, no nothing, no residence, no visa, you know, unless they have some sort of document from the United States government. Okay. And like I said, I've never had to deal with that. So I don't know the rules. I don't know the regulations if you can sell to foreigners. See, I've never worked in a shop and had to deal with that. You know, and I'm very curious about that. And then this woman, she's like, and then they put in the bottom that she's going to court and the ATF's taking her to court for illegally selling guns, and you should donate to the legal fund. Yeah. Okay. And she, oh, well, yeah. And it made no sense to me. And anyone doing that with the way the ATF goes around and audits everyone, okay, anyone doing that would be shut down immediately. I don't see how it can happen. And it kind of makes no sense to me. But then again, I'm not aware of the exact letter of the law of someone who is not a citizen legally purchasing a weapon in this country. Okay, what is the punishment for being involved in straw purchase? I really don't know. Okay. Um, I don't know anyone that's been caught doing it. Okay, it's pretty serious. Now that they got that on there, I do know if they can prove you sold a firearm to someone you know is a convicted felon, they come to your house, and the first stage of it is they confiscate every firearm in your house, BB guns, black powder guns, whatever. Then you go through the court system. Generally, you just lost the right to own a firearm, number one, and they do confiscate, they search your house and take everything. Okay. And then, whatever the thing is, there's probably a jail sentence and there is a fine. Okay. And a lot of it is a dog and pony show. If you really haven't committed any crimes, you will probably lose your firearms, lose the right to own firearms in the future. And if you pony up the money, you can probably get off with probation or something, house arrest. Okay. But if you have a habit of selling said guns to people and all this other crazy shit, they could throw your ass in prison. Okay. Very easily. Now, the ATF, it's kind of like for making, or was, I believe so. They can't own any type of firearm. Uh, yeah, getting caught doing that stuff is not good. Okay. That's why, any guns I buy are mine. And anytime I sell something, I go through the right things with the bill of sale and get uh, all the paperwork done. At least in my state, that's what you're supposed to do. And that. But the straw buy, yeah, if you're doing it, because they caught a bunch of college kids, what they would do is they would pay these college kids to go buy handguns or something, pay them some money, and they go do it. And then they just give the gun to the person, and then they take it to places like Chicago, New Jersey, or something. And they did bust a ring here locally of people who were doing that. And when they caught the college kid or whatever, they said that they didn't know, The guy just approached them and did it. I don't believe they were arrested or thrown in jail over it. Um, but yeah, it can happen, and it's not good. So that's why you don't go buy handguns for somebody and just hand it over to them. Okay, I think in any state, that's not good. That's not a good thing to do. But yeah, so anyway, it just keep every day something crazier about what's going on in Ohio. And the governor and everyone's telling them, no, 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 this is fake news. This isn't what's happening. This isn't what's going on. Don't believe them. But you get these average citizens telling you that all this bizarre crap's going on there, that you're afraid to go out in the street because somebody will run you over that doesn't know how to drive a car or driving cars around. And like the guy said, if I did these traffic violations, I would have to pay all this money, go to court, and I'd have to pay them immediately, or I wasn't leaving the damn courtroom or whatever he said. And what they do with these people, they just postpone it, and it goes on for so many months, and they just throw it out of court. Okay, so this is something that they're up in arms about. Not so much that, their dog's missing or something. It's just somebody's grandmother got run down going to the mailbox. Okay, and nothing's being done uh, about it. Joel, that varies from state to state. Okay, um, you know that every state has a different. In some states, also counties have different laws. Like in New York, uh, the laws there's a general law about owning a handgun in New York State, but then each county can modify, amend, or have even more restrictions. So that's a local thing. Okay. And unless you live here in Randolph County, North Carolina with me, I can't tell you. Okay. That's all I know. And that's kind of the way it goes. All right, Mike, glad to see you here. Uh, yeah, we got a new member pulled up. BA, thanks for a new member. BAGADC. All right. Let's see what all this is. Okay, don't want to do that. So yeah, so we're trying out the StreamYard again. StreamYard's kind of nice because I can invite people, and I guess the way they modified their software, we can have a webinar, whatever the hell that is. I guess where we can have a whole group of people together. Okay, so that because the YouTube built-in software is a little bit different than this, and I couldn't really figure out how the microphone was working on the YouTube streamingware software. Um, so I wanted to go with this because I know that how was this do? Oh, all right. So I can put your comments up. Oh, I might do that. See, then that way I can show your comments like this. All right, that way if it don't show up in the all right, that way if it doesn't show up in the thing, we can post it, and then when somebody comes in, all right, I kind of like that. That helps. That would. All right, so now I have to kind of keep on doing that, or should I? Yeah, because when people come and watch this afterwards, they can't see the comment thing for days, and that. So maybe we'll get. You guys got to bear with me, and I'll get more savvy with all of this and get back towards the microphone so you can hear me and get this done. Yeah, and I found out trying to keep up with this daily live chat. I do other things other than just sit in the house and post stuff on YouTube and that. But um, yeah, so like I said, Ohio, more and more weird crap comes out of Ohio. All right, I don't feel gonna be factor. Well, I don't know. Yeah, first of all, it's another thing. How can he vote? Okay, I guess they use their Mexican driver's licenses or something. You have to be registered and you know, I don't see how they can register to vote. Well, you do it automatically, I guess, with a driver's license is the one thing. And then you have to show up with that license. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I mean, my wife, we've lived here 20 years. My wife has been registered in this county the whole time. When we got our driver's licenses, we registered. They told us where to go vote and all this other stuff. And, you know, for years. Because her middle name is in English, when we went to vote the last time, we present our driver's license. They go, okay, what's your name? He goes, do you live at this address? Yes. May I see your driver's license? And my official address on my driver's license is there. Same with my wife. But because she has a foreign middle name, they scrutinize her. Okay. They scrutinize what she does. Yes, some states do not require an ID. In North Carolina, that was an issue. They did require you show an ID, and then they forced them to change the law before the last presidential election. They forced them to change it where they said you cannot do that. It was unconstitutional to make a person identify themselves to vote. Okay. Because they said minorities are terrified, they don't have ID, they don't have computer access. And there was a guy that did this uh, and all this other shit. Okay. And he asked these people, they say that, well, you don't have an ID. He goes, you have an ID? The guy goes, yeah, I got an ID. I got a driver's license. And he asked these, they said that, okay, they sent him 6 ballots. Did you fill them all out? Yeah. So there's a lot of confusion. Now, like he's saying, they sent him 6 ballots. Okay, and I was curious. If you fill them all out, they count them all? Yeah. Now, in my state, you must show a driver's license if you vote. Okay, and I know that, like Sean said there, you don't have to in some states. Okay, that's the way it should be. I mean, it's a public record. Okay, let's see this. Here in Washington, you're automatically registered to vote. And you get okay, yeah. Okay, you don't have to pass a test. you know, get a driver's license. All you need is a local mailing. Now, when I went and changed when I was stationed in North Carolina, when I went to get my residency and that, and I had an apartment and I wanted a North Carolina or South Carolina driver's license. All I had to do was go and take a test because I had a valid driver's license from another state. It was like a written test. They asked me some questions and that. And if I passed the test, they just went and issued me the license because I showed them my electric bill and I proved to them that I lived at that address. And that was what was on my driver's license. Okay. But I still had to take some sort of test. Didn't have to take a road test. Okay. But I can't believe that all you need is a local man. That's all you need. And they issue you a license. Oh, okay. Yeah, you do have to take tests too. All right. See, the problem in Ohio, I don't think any state just lets you go without a test. You get a permit. Now, a learner's permit, I think you fill out a written form. I can't remember when I done it. You fill out a written form and you go down there. And if you pass this test or you pass the written test, you're supposed to study. Then they give you a learner's permit. Well, what the thing they're doing in Ohio is they're getting learner's permits, not driver's license. And they're renting cars and driving around in cars. And then when they have an accident or get stopped, they have just a learner's permit. So supposedly you violated the law. You do not have a driver's license. And a lot of these guys were complaining that when they have these accidents, and of course they're probably not insured or anything else, or they're renting cars or borrowing cars, you're supposed to be fined. And they're saying that these people ain't paying a fine, even though they're wreaking havoc. And tragically, people have been killed. Okay, not talking to injured, or you see a car inside of a building, they went off bridges. And a lot of this damage is not being paid for either. Okay, so this is the confusion. But you still have to take the test to get the driver's license. So, yeah, it is. When you do go and get a driver's license, I think that's where we became registered voters when they gave us our license, which was our residence was an apartment. And a few years later, when we bought the house, the first thing you do is go and get your license changed. Okay, and then when you do that, that's all. Because we moved from one city to the other. We were still in the same county, but uh, there's a difference where you go to vote. Okay, because it goes by your polling place. But the only good thing about this state is we have early voting. And I kind of got in an argument with someone goes, well, don't do that. That early voting's not good. So what do you mean it's not good? I go down to the one city. It's an actual polling place. The machines, the ballots, everything is there, and they just allow you to vote early. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't believe that, when I put my ballot in, that it goes into a shredder and goes directly into the trash. But some people don't like that. And it's like, let me see where the other comment is about. Seconds do this one here. Dominion voting machines hack proof yet. I don't know what machines they use in my state. And I don't know how they're going to do the mail in ballots. Let's look. I'll ask a question. Okay, I'm checking the laws here. Militaries, overseas voters, visually impaired can request and access and submit absentee ballots through an online portal. Okay, and we use ES and S or HART equipment is what's used in this state. Doesn't say Dominion. Well, that's true. If they're doing that, it does make sense. I believe I can see why people would not like that. Okay, but now when they said they wanted to start counting them early too, there were people that protested that. Okay, my way of looking at it, if you count legitimate votes and you're already losing, then all of a sudden, with from 1 to 3 in the morning, you somehow get all these votes to where you're winning miraculously from the count. That's kind of uh, I don't know. Let me see. Okay, and I appear from your picture, Michael, that you're talking of Washington State, not Washington, D.C. I see the snow in the background. It's all mail in voting. That ain't good. Okay. I mean, Dominion, I didn't remember what machines or look at, but I just went and checked in North Carolina. We don't use Dominion machines. Okay. I just wanted to check and make sure. Because I don't know if they had the name on the damn thing or whatever, but it's been the same there. You do fill out a paper ballot. All right. Let's see what you got here. Stood in line half hour. All right. Yeah. See, I can't remember when we did vote. Um, but I've seen that when if you go, that's why I go with the early. Even when they do the early voting, it's like a couple days out of the week, 3, 4 days out of the week for the election or something, and that's to alleviate that. Because when we used to go on election day, that's what we did. Stood in line for a half hour just to get registered, and go to the next table, get your ballot, and you're instructed on how to fill it out. Then you go throw it in the machine. Okay. Um, yeah, that's uh, that's why we vote early, and I believe it's legit. Once it goes into that machine and it's registered, they're not using the questionable voting machines here, and you got vocal with them. Yes, Washington State. 20 minutes after. Yeah, if you start threatening them, what state do you live in, Joel? Um, Because, like, where we do the early voting, the damn police station's like a block away. So, getting a little rambunctious at the early voting thing at the community center wouldn't be a good idea. You know, the cops could walk over to talk to you. But yeah, I believe it. You know, oh, okay, that's right. You told me. Michigan, Kingsford. Michigan's another state. There's a lot of guys down here in North Carolina with me that worked in the auto industry up in Michigan. Flint. In some other places, there's several people I ran across. Let me see what this is. Well, sorry for that. Another unknown number. Doesn't say spam or not. And no voicemail. So, the hell with them. 54% of the union voted to back Trump, and the union said they would not back him or Kamala, even though he got over half the union votes. In the union, okay. That's very curious. Well, that's taking a safe stance. That's the coward's way out. See, that's why I'm glad they kind of don't like unions here. All right. And see, that means they don't know for sure. Okay, generally, people in the deep state already know that, but that's going to show it's not. So it's kind of an anything goes. And there are people that said that this last attempt or whatever this ridiculous attempt on his life was, it's going to happen more. Okay, we got, what is it, 47 days? All right. I don't think, other than back in the 60s when I was a kid, I don't think this country's been this unstable uh, in terms of politics and the violence around it. Okay. And it's all falling apart. Okay. It isn't like it used to be. There used to be some control. They couldn't get too out of control in the old days. Now, our society is eroded to the point where, you don't know what's going to happen. That's why the disinformation, all this other stuff. And, how do you know anything is being done correctly or honestly? All right. Yeah. And then when you do say, hey, you know what? I'd like somebody else to look at all this and tell me this and that. And then it's like, well, you're one of these people trying to overthrow the country. You know, you're one of these people that just want to start trouble. Yeah. So who knows? No. And I'm wondering if these comments will show up. Now, if I can do that, post you guys. And I think that's why I did StreamYard. That's why I used to do that all the time. The Gun Geek's one that got me on this is I could post here in the video your comments. At least when I'm alone. When I had other people, I don't think it worked real good. When I had guests or other people speaking. But I believe if this shows up in the videos, then a lot of the problems and things that people were carrying on about will be gone, and maybe this will be the route to go. Seeing how this microphone works out, because when I did my test, it was pretty hideous, the feedback, everything, and we'll see how this all goes. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the voting. But right now, it's like when the Fed uh, lowered the rates, this was supposed to be traumatic and everybody was worked up and they're saying, today and tomorrow or whatever, mark your calendar so many days until the big thing comes and everyone's speculating that metals will skyrocket. The stock market was kind of negative. It's all positive now, but I don't know what the hell that means. And silver is up $31, so it moved $1.05. Okay, and gold went not to its highest, but went back up 589. It was down 2005 and kind of was dipping under that thing. See, platinum ain't moving, palladium, whatever. I don't know. But stock market too. Uh, you get that. Well, I had so much in my 401k account. Why is it 20% less? Oh, it's just an adjustment. Don't worry. You're not on your last leg. You can put some more money in there. You can put another 10,000, get it back up to 20,000 again or something. Yeah. So, all right. So we had so far about 9-10 people. Of course, I did not give a exact time to anyone when I was going to do the next live maneuver. And so we got 47 days. It'll be 46 tomorrow. And chances are, gentlemen, I will do this in the early morning again, 9. So I was out on the range today. I had somewhere to be. And as you see, the afternoons can get, this afternoon was different. I know I had phone calls coming in and that, so I was wondering whether or not to do this. All right, so got an hour in, and I guess what we'll do is we'll do another live. 46 will be about 9 in the morning. We'll go for it again, and hopefully I'll have something else to talk about. But suggestions or your comments matter. That's why I like this. I can post your comment here where it can be seen, so you guys can chime in, and if you got something we should talk about, and go for it. And thanks for everybody talking about the different states and what it takes to vote and your experiences there in voting. Kind of gives everybody insight to other places. All right, then, gentlemen, I'm going to cut it off short, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. All right. Thank you, and have a good evening.